Go! What's going on in Hot Atlanta? Live from Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 brings back the hottest hip-hop radio show live from K.L.P Entertainment and K.L.P Studios. It's K.L.P Aftermath. Morning with your host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas.
You know what it is? Put your hands up.
Tune in now on any audio platform. Go.
Mike, man, what time is it, man?
It's swanky time with that new KLP.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the podcast here today. This is the KLP Aftermath Wednesday Night Live podcast for sure, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the podcast. Now, yes, it is true. We're switching things up yet again when it comes down to it. So at the beginning of the podcast, normally we would play music, and I like to play music to get a little hyped. But we have to switch things up. We still gonna have a banger podcast, by the way. We're not allowed to play music anymore. That's a bummer. Yes, it is a bummer. The reason why that is, y'all, is because music is very, very powerful to a lot of people. But when we do music, certain type of music gets us copyrighted, and when we get sort of copyrighted, then we get close to a strike, and that's something that I want to avoid when it comes down to the podcast and the radio stations, because we work really hard for both stations. So as an executive and as a producer, podcaster, and CEO, we have to operate with the best interests of our company and our viewership. Last episode we played Freedom by Beyonce and Kendrick Lamar. Great song, by the way. But Spotify said, no, you cannot have that. We're going to have to mute your whole episode, which makes sense. There's no harp on Spotify. They got to protect their interests. Beyonce has that song super copyrighted, which makes sense in a business form factor. So I get it. So, we got the email letter a couple days ago saying, hey, you guys cannot, you got to be careful with your music because, music with copyrighted issues on YouTube and all of our audio platforms, we get copyrighted. And it is true, when you do so much music, if you copyright so much of music on a lot of episodes, you can get your radio station banned and canceled, and we ain't trying to do that. So sorry in advance. I know this is not the start to the podcast that everybody is accustomed to. It's just I have to look at the better interests for our fan base, right? I can't have my radio stations canceled. I can't, because this is how we do it. This is how we do our thing. So welcome to the KLP Aftermath. We hope that you guys are having a fantastic week so far. The sun is out and it is shining, T. We got T up in the building as well. Thanks, T. We got so many of our other producers here in the building as well. Thank y'all for staying tuned. Welcome back to the KLP Aftermath podcast. I know I've skipped Monday and yesterday's recordings and podcasts because we have been busy. And this past weekend has been a very, 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 very eventful weekend. Let me just give you guys the breakdown of how the weekend was. Hopefully everybody had a fantastic weekend as we start the new month of November. Friday was very, very good. Friday was very impactful because Friday, we've had a lot of great things. Went to the gym, got all the errands that we needed to do. But Saturday was very good. I stepped back into the building of Georgia Gwinnett College. I did some athletic work over there at the team. By the time they're hearing it, we wish them best of luck today, or by the stream tonight. It is their championship match. We hope they had some great strides. Yeah. So we got Saturday we went there and we recorded for soccer, the men's and women's soccer. I was producing the men's soccer games both days, but Saturday was very good. Just to kind of step back into the building. Let me tell you, stepping back into that building is very, very impactful, y'all. As many people know, I am an alumni for GGC, and to be back to my roots, right? I always tell the story, and I'll tell the story to the day I'm golden sand, right? Put in the dirt, right? And that won't be until 120 years from now. But just to see like my roots of how this thing started. And I always pod about this, T, and it is so true. And I stay so true to it because there is so much impactfulness that goes on to me filming and podcasting. All of this started when I was in college. 2015 was the year I started to podcast, right? I knew what podcast was. I knew everybody was trying to get on this train of podcasting, but I just never knew the ins and outs of a podcast. So again, 2010 is where we started the media and started making movies. But 2015, my college years is where I started to podcast because I podcast. It was me and T, Lucas Chat Podcast. Me and T ran that show. And, we had condenser mics and an HP laptop and some recording software on that laptop. That's all we had, right? That's all we can afford into the realm of podcasting. And that's where it kind of started. And I've never stopped podcasting ever since 2015. I'm still doing it as we're getting ready to do 2025. August of 2025 will be the mark 10 years of me podcasting, right? And I just got into it. I got into having fun. I got into doing my thing. And I don't know, this podcast thing has been growing up, obviously, from 2015 to now. You see the new equipment and the new cameras here. We got a full-fledged radio station studio here. So it's so surreal. And I started the podcast, and then I started doing filming with GGC Athletics, right? So that's where it all started, was doing that. And now Saturday, stepping back into that realm, stepping back into that light, and just seeing the coaches that, I filmed them in their interviews, and the players that I see back there, I don't see anymore. They're all graduated and long gone and have kids and live their life, except for one athlete. Shout out to Alyssa Melton, by the way. Hold on. Shout out to her. But to see the coaches and to see everybody do their thing still, and they're like, hey Kennedy, welcome back. Hey Kennedy, welcome back. I don't know. It's so surreal. It's the most surreal thing that I've could ever just really endeavor. And just to see everybody still kicking it, still doing their thing and having fun doing it. I love everybody there in the athletics building. Shout out to my good friend Matt Mahoney for sure for allowing me to come back one more time to produce. And this won't be the last time, really, but to come back and do the thing that we know to do. I don't know. It gets me excited. To be part producer, making the replay calls. So that's what Saturday was all about. Saturday was very long. Sunday. Shout out to Young Atlanta. They did it. So Sunday was the 12th annual fashion show presented by Young Atlanta, and their theme was blackballed. And the theme of that was just kind of celebrating the start and the legacy of the Negro Baseball League. Very, very impactful for us in our culture. And I think all of the fine folks from Young Atlanta did a superb job putting a great show. A great show like that was able to commence at the Russ Chandler Stadium. That is at Georgia Tech, down the street, Georgia Tech, for their baseball program. And we were able to book out the stadium for a fashion show. Again, that is huge. You're able to book a baseball stadium for a fashion show, right? For us, for the culture. I can't thank them enough for putting on this show. I can't thank them enough for allowing me to be a part of that fashion show on Sunday. K.L.P Entertainment and K.L.P Network, we were there streaming the event, and I'm very, very excited because we streamed their event, and over 300 people saw the stream, and that was very impactful. So we reached an audience who couldn't make it to the show, but were able to watch it online, and just to see everybody's faces get so excited for this show, T, is so impactful. Everybody but believe what you saw on the stream towards the end. Everybody, a lot of people came out to this event. Now, the showrunner, his name's Holly. They mentioned that it was raining on Sunday, which sucked because luckily none of the equipment that we brought for our stream kit they didn't get damaged because it was raining. We were prepared. We had an umbrella. I had a poncho. We had covers on, but rain is rain. But we put on a great show. It was very, very impactful when it comes down to putting on just a magnitude of a show to where people can watch it live. And for all the models, they had over 120 models at this thing, about 18 designers that were part of this show as well. They had a band. They had a band that was there that came and performed, and they got right in the shot of the stream. So they were live and on stream. It was just the craftsmanship of this show and all the elements put together for this show. It really brings out wonders for young Atlanta. And I'm happy. I'm happy that they did a good show. I'm happy that they made some good progress with the Young Atlanta program. I'm happy that they made money from this because people bought tickets to come see the show. I'm happy that the designers were able to go out. I'm really, really happy about this one simply because I've been to quite a few shows that in the past where I'm either filming the fashion show. I think this is Young Atlanta was my second time streaming the show because the first ever stream was I Am Streetwear Fashion that we did back in, I want to say August, September. So shout out to them as well because they're amazing. But before that, I would go to a fashion show and there's a fashion organization that they're putting together the show, but then they're just so busy and then they act entitled, and I just didn't feel welcome in those previous shows years back. But when I showed up to the Russ Chandler Stadium this past Sunday, I felt the welcome. I felt that, hey, we're glad you're here. Here's your setup. Let us know if you need anything, right? And shout out to everybody. Shout out to all the people that got me together and make sure that I was set up correctly and got what I needed. And they were very nice. They were so nice. They were so appreciative for me to be there, not only to film and do photo, but to stream it. And it was just really wonders. I really hope from the bottom of my heart that maybe Young Atlanta was watching the podcast tonight. I hope that they were able to find some success from this. And I did get a text. I got a text from one of their executive assistants, and she said, hey, we're going to loop you in for next year, right? And I said, hey, I would love to do it again, right? Because now I know the limitations. Now I know the parameters of streaming. I don't know if next year they'll have an outdoor venue or not, but who knows? But we were able to give them just a good quality stream, and I'm so amazed with it. My family members came out because my brother was in the show too, so it was kind of a celebration for them as well. But to see that, everybody's out there doing their craft, it is amazing. Shout out to all of you models out there for sure. I got to give an applause one more time to you. It was great. It was a great show. Very great show. Yeah, and then it goes down to Monday. Monday was good. Back into athletics to do the semifinals again. I saw a little bit more people. I think 2 old coaches that worked at GGC popped up, so we saw them. I saw Mr. Doug Court. If you guys don't know who Doug Court is, Doug, if you're watching the show, I'm sorry, I'm putting you a little bit out on blast a little bit, but Doug Court was a guy who was the first ever athletics manager, facilities operations manager for athletics. And he was there for years, right? First ever. And he came and he volunteered his work. He volunteered his work at GGC, I want to say long years ago when athletics were first getting started. And I read a story. He didn't ask for payment. He asked, hey, let me just be a part of something, right? I'll do this for free for right now because I know you're trying to get this thing started. Eventually, when athletics got started, he became the manager of operations, and that was his job. And he's been there for years. He retired, and he's now in the GGC Athletics Hall of Fame. Very, very excited for him. So I caught up with Doug Court, and it was very good because he remembered me. He's like, "Hey, Kennedy, what you doing here?" I'm like, "Hey, we don't, when you been a part of something, you don't want to stay away, right? You wanna continue on that legacy. You wanna continue, right? So very, very good. Very, very good weekend. It's been a very productive weekend. And then yesterday being Tuesday, yeah, we did Prime Time. You guys can check out Prime Time right now. It's available. It's streaming now. But we didn't do anything. We needed a day. I needed a day from the weekend. But yesterday went to Firebirds with my mom and my sister and my brother, and we just had a great time eating over there at Firebirds. So, like I say, very productive weekend. I love weekends like this. I ain't gonna lie and tell y'all that I ain't tired, but boy, howdy T, I was tired from this weekend. But shout out to the weekend, man. Nothing but blessings. Nothing but blessings all around. I love it. It was very, very good to see everybody over the weekend. But now we got to get to the topics of conversation, the topic of conversations within the podcast, because you guys came not to hear me babble about what's going on. You guys here to listen to me talk about what's going on in the media news. Now, before we get to all the other things that are saved on my phone, I wanted to do real quick a show review. Shout out to the show reviews. I love doing these when I have the chance to watch good TV. So, apart by the busy weekend that we had over this past weekend, I got to give a shout out to Prime Video T. There's a lot of stream networks out there, Max, Netflix, Hulu, whatever you name it. We have it here, here in the studio and then at my house for sure. So I popped over to Prime Video, to which you guys can watch all 10 of my films by Kennedy Lucas Films, by the way. Street Style, Back in the A, Young Atlanta, they're going to be featured in the documentary, so I'm so excited for that. But I popped over there for Prime because I always like to find something to watch, something to binge watch, right? Now, I think we're just kind of in this, I want to say we're a little bit in this TV drought, just a little bit, because there's not really too much shows out right now that are streaming, right? There's not so many shows that I'm watching right now that are streaming. But this show is from Craig Turk and Dick Wolf. Those two, probably they're rich because they've got all of these shows like Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, NCIS series, SUV series, all of those type of shows. Now, this show is another Dick Wolf and Craig Turk show called FBI. And I'm really, really excited about this show because FBI was the show that I'm currently binge watching right now. And I genuinely enjoy this show. Now, typically with every type shows like that, I watch a couple episodes and then I kind of lose interest. And I'm starting to not do that because these are really good shows that I'm just trying to get back into them. But I am very, very excited to talk more about FBI, the show from Dick Wolf and Craig Turk. That is available on it's on Prime Video via Paramount Plus. So if you have Paramount, you'll see it there. But if you have Prime Video with the Paramount subscription, that's how I'm able to view it. So it follows the two characters, Maggie Bell and Omar Sedan. Maggie Bell, her character's name is Missy Pellegrim. If I pronounce her last name right, give me a whoop. And then you got Zico Sakai. He plays Omar. And very fantastic actors and actresses, by the way. They're very good. Now, I'm just going to relate, and you guys know how I do it in my show reviews. I relate to the characters' names versus the actor names because it just helps me tell my story a little bit better. So, you've got Maggie Bell and Omar. Omar, so it's Omar Aiden Zadan. So his short name is OA. We'll say OA or OR. OA or Omar. So it follows the story of Maggie and Omar. They're FBI agents that are, they're agents. They're trying to find out, solve mysteries. Within each episode, it's not like a continuum of a story. Each episode has its own story, which I love shows like that because shows like that you give creators, in my opinion, a little bit more variety to write in a story for each episode. And I think shows should do that more than some shows having a story, and it's a long extended story for about 2 seasons, right? FBI is a show that each episode there's something new, right? There's a new murder case, there's a new abduction case, there's a new bomb case, right? Each episode has something new on each term. And I love that because 40 minutes you're watching a story, bam, that's that story. That next story is something else that Maggie and Omar have to go through with another case, right? I love that. So they're going through, they're solving either, again, murder mysteries, shootout mysteries, bomb mysteries, fire mysteries, right? FBI stuff, right? They're trying to find out mysteries. But the long-term story is Maggie Bell is married to a reporter. His character name is Jason. He dies, right? Jason Bell is in the car. He gets into a car accident, a bad car accident, and kills Maggie's husband. So now Maggie, not only does she pass through Quantico and she became a field agent, but she still is mourning her husband, right? So some of the episodes that relate to Jason Bell, she kind of gets kind of emotional about it, and she gets too personal about the case because she's reflecting on her husband that is dead, that died from this car accident, right? So that's her story. You got Omar. Omar is a character who is American, but he's part Muslim, right? So some episodes you're going to see a little bit of a political play, right? Muslim religion, Palestine type religion. You're going to see these type of political play, I say, in some of these shows. So now Omar has to kind of be the FBI agent that he's hired to be, but then, he'll have some strides because of his tradition and his religion. He's never going to back down from him being a Muslim himself, right? Honestly, I think, if you're Muslim, you could still be an agent. But again, there's part of the show that a lot of people don't respect that tradition because, they bring up 9/11 in an episode. So again, it's a political play, right? It's good storytelling. It happened for real, and this stuff happens in real life, but it's political play with the show. We get it. And then you're going through all of these strides, and then you get introduced to more characters. You got Dana Mosier. She is in season 1, she was the director of FBI, but then I'm on season 2 right now, y'all. And in the last episode of season 1, she announced her retirement. So I think, hey, producers say, hey, we don't want you on the show anymore, or hey, you're only contracted for season 1. You gotta go. We're gonna get somebody else in here. But she's, boss lady, but nice at heart, a little sweet on Maggie, not in a relationship way, but she's really sweet on Maggie because they're both kind of relating to the ability of being a dominated woman, great woman in a predominantly male type role. Director of FBI, you normally hear that being a male. But now in the show, she's a female, and now she's in charge, right? So there's kind of a play there. Then you got Christine. Christine T. She is my favorite. Not only that she is so cute, and her lips are, she's cute, but she's also working for the FBI, but she is Central Intelligence. She smart, witty. Oh my God. If I meet a girl like Christine out here in Atlanta, where y'all at? Because I would love to. But she is smart. Her character is so smart. She's so intelligent. She knows what she wants. She works hard at her job, and she really deep dives in the elements of whatever case it is on each episode. So when she towards the end of season 1, and going to season 2, she wants to become a field agent, which in season 2, what I've seen so far, Christine got a lot to learn, right? Because it's more than just hiding behind a computer and investigating stuff. You're out there on the field, you can die, right? You can get severely hurt. You can get shot and killed, right? You have to be careful, right? Doing field work for FBI is hard work. So I think Christy she's now learning to be a field agent in season 2, and I think she can do it, but she might have some fallout with that, and then she might want to revert back to what she did, because she was at the FBI headquarters behind computers and investigating and analyzing stuff, right? the safe zone of the work of the FBI, right? Then you got Jubal. Jubal is really cool. I like his character. Jubal Valentine is not the director of FBI, but kind of like the supervisor and the coordinator, if you will. He's very smart and witty. He has his own episode to where he's helping out a friend. He's a sponsor to a friend because he is also not only in witness protection, but he's also an addict, or an ex-addict, I should say. His character is. And he's in FBI because his not only his job, but he's in witness protection. He's trying to do right. So his character is cool because he's very witty. I like his voice, right? He could be a predominantly voice actor, and I'm sure he is the actual guy, the actual actor. I'm sure he's a voice actor somewhere because he has that voice to where it's really like it's deep, but it's commanding, but it's a little raspy, but he can play like a boss character if he wanted to, right? So, his character is really, really cool. Who else is in this show? And I think that's all the main characters that's in the show that I know of and seen. And there's a lot of people in this show. Obviously, a lot of people had some special guests. We had Matthew Lillard. He plays Shaggy. Oh, well, he played Stu in the Scream movies, but Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, the live action movies. He had an episode. He was very good in that episode too. So you're going to see a lot of pop-up actors that we know, and then you're also going to see actors who are becoming actors, right? Because most of the actors in each show, they are a little different in each episode, and you don't really know where they're from. They're probably from other stuff, but you just don't recognize them as much. Like I say, FBI is a great show. I do recommend people watching it if you want a nice little binge watch, epic action type show. FBI is the one, right? That's the show I like because it's witty, it's sexy in a way, but it's crime solving in a way, it's action packed. It's overall, guys, it's a good show. And I recommend y'all going to go watch that show because it's really, really good. So shout out to FBI and the producers and the writers and the directors. You guys got something there. Keep up with it. That's the shows I like. That's the shows I really, really like. I gotta give it up to it. Now I'm just struggling to find notes here. There we go. Now we kicking it. Now we're gonna move on to the topic of conversation. Now this is a video coming from sources of the Shade Room. Of course, the fantastic Denzel Washington has something to say for sure.
Played Othello at 22. I'm about to play Othello at 70. After that, I'm playing Hannibal. After that, I've been talking with Steve McQueen about a film. After that, Ryan Coogler is writing a part for me in the next Black Panther. After that, I'm going to do a film of Othello.
K.L.P.
After that, I'm going to do King Lear. After that, I'm going to retire.
All right, so if you guys missed it, so Denzel freaking Washington. The new Gladiator movie is out right now, which I'm at some point this week, I'm going to try to see if I can score some movie tickets to go see that movie because I like the first Gladiator. Ridley Scott said that they did very good. They said that the movie did really, really well in the box office. So far, that's what sources are telling me. But Denzel Washington, Denzel Washington says that he got just a couple of more movies behind his belt before he hit that retirement button. I think Denzel Washington still got it. Now he's in the latest movie, Gladiator 2, which we'll do a review when I see the movie. I can't review a movie I ain't seen yet. But I'm very excited when he said, Ryan Coogler is writing me a part in Black Panther, the next movie. So I wanted to analyze that here on the podcast because that is so exciting, number one. And I'm not in Ryan Coogler's ear, but if you watching this podcast and he needs a cinematographer or a consultant for Black Panther, hit me up because I would love to work with him. Black Panther 3 is, I want to say right now, is highly anticipated, right? We had Black Panther 1 in 2018? Yeah, 18. And that movie skyrocketed in a good way, right? Chadwick Boseman and the whole cast and crew, Michael B. Jordan, everybody did phenomenal, right? They were everywhere. They had an all-star cast. The story was great. It was a Marvel movie. Everybody came out to watch this movie. And I'm very happy that Black Panther 1 did so well. I cannot wait for next year when we get a Black Panther game. We're getting it. It's called Rise of Hydra 1943. It's a Black Panther Captain America spinoff game from Sundance. Can't wait to see what that game looks like. That 2025 game is going to be awesome. So I saw again, we saw Black Panther 1 in 2018. And a few years back, we had Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. This one was sad, right? Because we know, and I still say it, God rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace, rest in power. Sad occasion when we found out Chadwick Boseman died. I'm still sad about that because Chadwick Boseman was also was on my list of favorite actors, and I've seen 21 Bridges, I've seen 42, I've seen James Brown, I've seen Thurgood Marshall, right? He played so many great characters, right? So I'm sad. I'm really sad because if Chadwick Boseman was still alive, Black Panther story would have been totally different. But this is why Black Panther 3 is that's anticipation, right? Because I think they have to creatively reintroduce Black Panther, right? Black Panther, the superhero, and whoever is going to be playing Black Panther. Now, I know Letitia Wright. She was the Black Panther in Black Panther 2. Not discrediting her to be Black Panther, because I think she did phenomenal in that movie in Black Panther 2. But this one, the second one, was very emotional. It was hard. It was hard on everybody because it was a story, but it was a tribute to Chadwick Boseman. It was a sad occasion. Now we've lost a friend, a brother, a superhero. Now we have to pivot, right? Black Panther 2, although it was a great movie, made a lot of great money. I saw it in theaters because I was in the theaters tearing up because I was just so sad that they wrote such an emotional piece, but they had to pivot, right? So sad about it. But I think the third one will still be a tribute to Chadwick Boseman. And I think if I was Ryan Coogler, I would make sure that we have the right people for the third one. Because now you kind of have to reintroduce this a little, right? We got to get a new holder of Black Panther suit if it's not Letitia Wright, right? I see Denzel Washington doing good in this movie. Right? I think, because the rumors out there, it's been circulating that we were going to get in Black Panther 2. Rumors had said Beyonce was supposed to be in Black Panther 2. And she's not. So I think Black Panther 3 is the one to where, if I was Ryan Coogler, let's bring out more of our top Black actors and actresses in this Black Panther 3. I see Denzel Washington. I see Beyonce. I see Brian Tyler Henry some way in this movie. Who else do I see? I see a Morgan Freeman in this one, right? I'm going for the big Black actors and actresses that made history. That's what I want to see in Black Panther 3, along with Letitia Wright and all the other cast members, right? Along with everybody else, but we need more of the top Black acts out there in the world to make Black Panther 3. To make this movie so damn special that people gonna want to buy the DVD. People gonna want to buy all the merchandising for Black Panther. That's just the business side of me talking. People are gonna buy within the franchise if the movie is that great. And that's what I want to see. So I'm very excited to see what role Denzel Washington's going to be in this. I don't know if he's going to play the main villain, whatever villain that's left. I don't know what's going to happen. I kind of want to see And Jonathan Majors not gonna be in because he's done with Marvel for now. I mean that screwed up. But if they had a faith, Jonathan Majors in this movie playing a role, right? But Jonathan Majors, I don't care what. I mean, I know his story, but he's a phenomenal actor too, right? I'm not gonna disqualify him on his acting career because of his sticky situation. I'm not gonna discredit him because he's a phenomenal actor. But Marvel said, nah, you got too much heat on you, buddy. And it's going to look weird because now you're no longer going to be Kang the Conqueror, the next Marvel villain. Now it's all about Dr. Doom and Robert Downey Jr., which I'm happy about that too. But you kind of screwed up that thing there going. So that's why I'm excited for this one. I feel like Denzel Washington said from that post, he has so much to do. But I think if Denzel Washington were to retire after these movies, I got to say it's rightfully earned. I mean, Denzel Washington played a lot of characters. So I think he solidifies himself as one of the A-listers to where he can retire and still be straight. And I bet whoever his agent is, his talent rep, I'm sure they set him up really, really good when that residuals check come in. This is what a lot of people don't understand about residual checks, because I know about residual checks. When you do a project and you know you're getting some residual checks from it, that is money that's coming and you ain't got to do nothing. Right? Your movie can be streaming on, let's say, HBO Max. Bam, you get a residual check from Max, right? Because I get them. Residual checks from my movies. I've got some family. My big brother, he's an actor. He gets residual checks from his projects, right? It's all about the residuals because there's just income still coming for people playing your movie that you did years ago, right? So it's all about the residuals. So I think Denzel Washington kind of solidifies himself to where I'm sure he's getting a fat residual check every month. I'm sure he is. And I'm glad to see him still doing his thing. I can't wait to see him in Black Panther 3. We're probably not going to get back Black Panther 3 into 2026 or 2027. But I mean, I'm going to be 30 when the next Black Panther come out, or early 30s. But it's going to take a while. But I'm happy to see what this goes. I think, again, if I was Ryan Coogler, I would want to make sure that this movie, the third one, brings out the best from the last two, because now you're kind of unfortunately you're reintroducing the franchise a little bit because of the unfortunate succumbing of Chadwick Boseman and the actors and actresses who did Black Panther 2. I saw their interview. They said making this movie was the hardest thing they done, because they're acting without their brother and their family member. So they have to pivot a whole lot. And that's what made this one so special. So I'm excited. I'm happy for Denzel Washington still doing his thing. He got more to come, y'all. He got more stuff to come and to kick it with us. So I cannot wait to see what happens next. With Denzel Washington. I want to work with the man too. I want to make a movie and have Denzel Washington in it because he's just that phenomenal of an actor. So shout out to him for sure. Shout out for sure. Denzel, we got you, man. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very, very excited for that. We wanted to shout out a happy 40th birthday to Omarion. Omarion turns 40 as of yesterday. Very, very happy for him. Omarion, honestly, is one of those great moments, right? With the B2K group and his albums. I love the Sonic Book 1 and Book 2, the latest albums. I love those albums. So Omarion, although Omarion didn't really do good on the Omarion versus Mario versus battle. He didn't do good on that one. His sound was bad, but shout out to Omarion. Happy birthday to you. Now, some new details surrounding alleged verbal altercation involve Megan Thee Stallion and Winnie Harlow has surfaced. Let's see if we can get a video here real quick. No video, But there was a sort of altercation. There is a video. Hold on.
Hello at Michael Rubin's party. I don't have all the full details yet, and I'm waiting on the video. But I've texted Megan and Winnie, so there you go. Boom. Hold on. Have a good weekend. It's time for thoughts and prayers.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't a full video, but at Michael Rubin's one of his parties, there was a surprised rumor that there was a verbal altercation between Megan Thee Stallion and Winnie Harlow. Again, this is what there's a comment here. Only Jason Lee recently broke the news that Winnie Harlow and Megan Thee Stallion got into a fight at Mike Rubin's all-white party. Of course, allegedly this all started because Winnie is Canadian and she posted something about Tory Lanez on social in midst of Megan ex Tory shooting trial stuff, which Meg allegedly took issues with. I'm told Winnie's alleged post. I tried to go back and find it, but couldn't. Wasn't amend to against Megan Thee Stallion at all, but it was perceived that way. So basically what it is, Winnie Harlow is kind of going to back with Tory Lanez. We all know about the Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez shooting trial and all that. It's been said in her Prime documentary, to which we're kind of segueing both together, T, because it's kind of like another review here on the podcast, because I saw the Megan Thee Stallion, in her words, Prime Video documentary, filmed really well. Despite her getting shot, I really love the animation that was in this documentary. I hate to say it because she got hurt, but the animation was so damn good. I wish that I'm learning with animation. You guys seen my animation movies before. That's the animation that I want to do next, right? That's the one I want to do next. I got to figure out what software did they use to animate that, her scenes in the movie. But it surfaced about, so her documentary is about her upbringings and how Megan became Megan Thee Stallion, and her upbringings, and then the story with her mom, which that part touched me, right? Because I couldn't imagine being without my mom, right? I just couldn't imagine that. So I get Megan Thee Stallion when it comes down to that point, T. I do. And then it kind of, towards the half end of the documentary, we knew the Megan Thee Stallion story was going to come out, which makes sense because I'm sure from this documentary that's over now on Prime, Megan Thee Stallion, in her words, I'm sure that she is making millions off this documentary already. I'm sure of it, right? Because it's Prime Video, MGM Studios is helped produce this, so I get the marketing play here. But I'm very... I gotta say that I am a Tory Lanez fan too, because I've listened to quite a few of his songs. I still listen to quite a few of his songs, but you gotta understand, evidence show, right? Evidence show, and he was convicted, right? He's in jail right now. He was convicted of this shoot. It's not even alleged. It's true because he is serving time. And I'm always going to say, and I know a lot of podcasters are kind of saying the same thing, when you first call your Megan's friend, Kelsey, from a prison phone or jail phone, they are always listening. You have to be careful. I say this too, be careful because they are listening, right? So he kind of said sorry. When you say sorry about an incident and you feel really bad about it and you're involved, you're kind of admitting yourself to guilt. So that didn't really help his case, right? Because it's in her documentary to where they played it to where Tory and Kelsey had a phone call. He's in prison and she's out there and they're communicating, and now it's on the documentary. So it's out there for real if it's on a documentary. But he's saying sorry, it shouldn't never been like that, and that's not me. Now you would just admit it to guilt, right? If I was Tory Lanez, I would not talk to nobody, right? I would have not talked to nobody until trial, right? So you got to understand the ramifications of what happened. Now, when it comes down to the Winnie Harlow and Meg Thee Stallion altercation, I think if I was Winnie, I wouldn't approach her in that way. I get that Winnie has her feelings. Yes, Tory and her both are from Canada. Tory Lanez is in jail. He's Canadian. I get that part. But boo-boo, this is not your fight. I think as talented, well, I guess talent for Winnie Harlow, I think she's just, I don't know really what she does. I guess she's a personality, fashion personality, which is great. And I guess she kind of uses the, what's it called? Like the Vinnie Largo as another thing there too. So that's great. But this is, in my opinion, this is not your fight. Right? Because you got to think Winnie Harlow, Megan Thee Stallion. Who is bigger? Who's the bigger celebrity? Right? I got to say, most people would know Megan Thee Stallion just a little bit more than Winnie Harlow. Not degrading Winnie Harlow, not degrading of what she is and what she do out there in the media. She's amazing. Right? Probably richer than me, right? There's no fight in that game for me. But like, you got to kind of pick your battles here. And you at a billionaire's party, the all white party, Mike Rubin, right? That dude is a billionaire from Fanatics, right? So you kind of have to pick your battles a little bit. I would say we're at this public party to where there's a lot of celebrities here. Everybody goes to, if you get invited to a Michael Rubin party, you made it. This guy got some business moves. That's the kind of guy I want to hang out with, really, honestly. I would say pick my battle. I know I'm upset about this altercation. I know I'm upset because my guy Tory Lanez is behind bars, but this is not my fight. So I'm not going to engage in this. Right? Because news, it goes out. Whatever, and these celebrities, I say this time and time and time and time again, guys. When celebrities do something on public that's embarrassing, people got their phones out. People blogging. Podcasters. We talking about it. Right? So, I say to Winnie Harlow, I doubt she's listening, but this is not your fight. So, although this is upsetting because that's your fellow brother from the same country, this is not your fight to be had. And I think, I don't want to say it's clout chasing. I don't want to say it's grasping for the attention. But you gotta understand the ramifications of you being a celebrity and trying to involve yourself in something that doesn't have anything to do with you. Right? I think if a lot of celebrities, and I say this, if a lot of celebrities just mind their business, then they'll be fine. It's the celebrities trying to get involved with beef that has nothing, their name on, not nowhere on it, that gets them in the most trouble. I don't think Megan Thee Stallion's really going to really entertain this that long because this was very traumatic for her. And people on media, I've seen it. I've seen the documentary. They had Maul from Rory and Maul talking about it. They had Joe from Joe Budden talking about it. Everybody was saying, hey, she lying. We don't know. Right? We don't know. Evidence are there, yes, but we do not know if she was shot or not. We don't know. We, as podcasters and broadcasters, we only believe what we see on media, and that's we think this thing to be true. If she says she got shot and the court says she got shot and he found guilty, he went to jail, then yeah, she got shot. Sorry. You're innocent until you're proven guilty. I know there's the saying, hey, you're guilty until you prove innocent. That saying goes true, but the ramifications there, she got shot. And boy, howdy, did she capitalize on that in her documentary. I'm sure and I watched it over last week. I watched it. Good documentary. It really is good. She's going through a lot of stuff. I just don't, and I also say this because a lot of celebrities, they say, oh man, for my fans and I make millions, but I'm really not happy. Okay. You say that. And I say that because when you're a millionaire, and you made it, a lot of people ain't gonna be boo-boo, cry for you when you made it and you making some strides and you making business move and money. But shout out to both. I mean, shout out to both. I think Winnie Harlow, you gotta mind your business, boo. This ain't, don't put your name in this because now this ain't good. This went legal. It went legal, and I just wouldn't involve myself into something that ain't got nothing to do with me. I wouldn't, but people do that. People do that. Now, you guys heard a little snippet of it because I just accidentally played it, but I wanted to talk about it too because I really love this song here today. And I wish I could play some of it, but I can't. There we go. So Chris Brown earns his first diamond single for No Guidance featuring Drake. From the chart data, that's the sources, of course, his first diamond record with No Guidance featuring Drake. Congratulations to Chris Brown and Drake. I work out to that song to this till to this day. Love No Guidance. I listen to it in the car when I'm going somewhere. When I'm lifting weights, I'm doing it, getting it in, and I'm getting it in and having fun, right? I love that song, No Guidance. I really, really, really do. It's a phenomenal song, and it's a song that you guys can't get so disappointed with. You just can't. Now, before we wrap up the podcast today, we were trying to do it last week, but we ran out of time. But we got time today. We got ED here in the studio to give us our elephant of the room.
Some of y'all might know this, and some of y'all don't.
Let's do it.
It is now time for the elephant in the room. K.L.P. Who's the biggest elephant today?
Dame Dash praises Donald Trump for using Diddy to defeat Kamala Harris. Dame Dash has praised Donald Trump and his team for successfully using the scandal around Diddy to hurt Kamala Harris's campaign. Speaking on his American New Network, the Rockefeller Records co-founder offered his perspective on the election results and how Harris's use of celebrity endorsements may have contributed to her failed bid for the White House. Dash said, "I was looking at Kamala Harris's campaign, and it was a pretty good campaign. What I would have done different is I would have stood away from the celebrities. In this moment, because of the circumstances, it is not the best thing to be next to a celebrity. I believe they leveraged the Puff thing so well. I feel like Kamala invested a lot in the people that may have been at the Puff parties. It's a gray area, so what they did there was made sure the whole world know who Puff was and what he was accused of, and then they accused everybody that may have been at his parties of being a part of it." He added, "A lot of the people I saw speaking on those stages may have been in the gray area. They may have been hot. They may have those affiliations." Dash also praised Elon Musk's use of social media to associate celebrities with Diddy. Elon owns Twitter, and every time somebody endorsed Kamala Harris, Elon would say, "Why would you trust them? They were at a Puff party." And then he would put that in the algorithm. They just leveraging that power to negate the power of the celebrity. Musk used his X platform to attack Eminem for publicly endorsing Kamala Harris. Responding to M's rare public appearance to back Harris, Musk wrote on social media, "Yet another Diddy party participant." He also criticized Jennifer Lopez for formerly dating Diddy between 1999 and 2001 after she criticized Trump's comments about Puerto Rico. Saying on the Joe Rogan Experience, Musk commented, "Jada Lowe was like his ex-girlfriend, and now all of a sudden, she's warning people about Trump. How many people did she warn about Diddy? Oh, 0. Maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion."
Thank you, ED. She's going to be a regular on the show, by the way. You guys can catch her on Primetime. She is dabbling right now in our NBA top stories. So again, our NBA recap videos this past week. She did week 10, in NBA and NFL. She's doing both. NFL, she did the recap week 10. And then she's also talking about basketball as well. NBA season has started. So, Edie, thank you so much. We love everybody here in the studio. Thank you guys for staying tuned for the show. I'm sorry I can't play any music anymore for our show. That copyright, everybody out there who's media people, y'all know. And I've seen it. A lot of podcasters are pivoting, especially for YouTube. A lot of podcasters are pivoting from playing music on their videos because they're getting copyrighted. No matter if they buy a license or not, copyright, right? It's a whole thing there. So sorry about that, but the podcast is still good. Thank you guys for taking a listen to the podcast wherever you get your podcast from, either iHeart, Radio, big sponsor for them. Love them. Shout out to them. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you're watching the stream version, thank you so much. And if you're watching the video version on Spotify for video, YouTube, and Facebook Watch, thank you guys so very much. And also over at Amazon Live, shoppable videos, we thank y'all there too. Thank y'all so much. That's going to wrap it up here. The K.L.P. Aftermath Wednesday Night Live. We'll catch you guys in the next episode. I've been your host, K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas. Stay safe. Stay swanky.
Go! What's going on in Hot Atlanta? Live from Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6. brings back the hottest hip-hop radio show live from K.L.P Entertainment and K.L.P Studios. It's K.L.P Aftermath. Morning with your host, K.L.P Kennedy Lucas.
You know what it is? Put your hands up.
Tune in now on any audio platform.
Go.